Hello and welcome to the ClusterAPI Node Bootstrapping Working Group. Doing a small loop as usual. We're all regulars, so I'm going to skip the intro part and jump right to the beef of it. As a CNCF working group subproject, we adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct and basically be nice to each other. We don't have any issues with that because small group and we know each other. All right. I am using too many video call tools because everybody does screen sharing differently. Oh, okay. That changed again. Oh, nice. Okay, so I hope I am sharing the right thing now. Otherwise, you just read my work emails. What can go wrong? Looks like I'm sharing the right thing. Okay, so we have a lightweight agenda as usual, and thanks for jotting your attendance down. That's very nice. So the second part of the check-in after the new attendees introductions is let's check the to-dos. And there's one to-do left from when Matt was here the last time around. And let's have a look at Johannan's work in progress branch and poke a little bit into the code on your end to just make yourself comfortable with the stuff. I realize these are intense times for all of us right now. If you follow the news, I still want to check back just for the formality of the thing. Matt, did you have any chance to jump in?
I really didn't, as I'm sure you can guess, other things came up, but I still have the intention to dig
Awesome.
into it.
This is
So, so I haven't really helped out much, but I'm still here and I'm
no.
looking for time to contribute.
You know, given the circumstances, that's almost more than we can expect. Thank you for the continued interest and engagement. That is super nice. All right.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's useful not to have you in the meetings anyway. And Tilo and I have been also kind of busy with internal projects lately. So yeah, I guess it's just a low traction period, and this is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, on the pro side, particularly for folks watching the videos, I think we have reached a pretty solid foundation where people can at least iterate locally. And that wasn't even possible before because Cluster API development happens on kind, and we can't really develop the Flatcar on kind because Flatcar uses provisioning time configuration in a very early boot phase, and initRD kind doesn't have that because it uses Docker containers. And Johanna did some great work integrating KubeVirt into the process, yeah, making it work locally. That's awesome.
Thanks. A small correction. It's true that we are using kind. We are also using kind in the new KubeVirt-based workflow. The limitation was that CapD was assumed as the only local provider, as a CAPI provider for local development. And Docker itself is not the problem. The thing is that Flatcar needs to believe it is running on a VM. And we're doing that using KubeVirt, which still uses Docker containers, but within these containers, it spawns actual virtual machines. So we are basically adding another layer inside the container, which allows us to run Flatcar basically natively rather than try to containerize it using a Docker file, etc. So kind is still in the picture, but using KubeVirt provider rather than CapD. That's a new thing.
Awesome. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, that's super insightful. All right. So the only other thing I have as a topic, which is a quick one, is so for Johanna, it's really late because he's checking in on UTC +4.
3 during the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm UTC +2 and it's already late for me. So I guess with Matt's input, what would be a better time slot for the meeting? What's your time right now, Matt?
Uh, right now here in Colorado Mountain Time, it's 11 a.m. But so anytime uh, from 8 a.m. on, I mean, really, I'm a morning person, so I'm available earlier, but I guess we should keep it in business hours. So
Yep.
um, an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, 3 hours earlier, any of those times would work for me. I'm not primarily on the hook for hosting CapZ office hours anymore, so it doesn't really matter if that conflicts. So
I would
it's open.
I would move it 2 hours earlier if that's okay for Johanna, and I would put us before the CAPC office hours to give you at least the room for that if you want to join.
Yeah, I think
Sure.
that would be perfect.
Awesome.
Sorry?
Works for me. Great.
Cool. Yeah, I think even 1 hour earlier would help me, but yeah, 2 hours would cover both summertime and wintertime. So what's it called? Daylight saving time. So yeah,
Yeah,
2 hours is safe. So that would be, yeah, 3 UTC. Yes. So it would be 2 hours earlier than the current slot. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's good.
awesome. Okay, I'll move it then. And we got that covered. Anything else we want to discuss?
I just had a question, and this is probably showing my lack of familiarity with the current code that you've done, Johanan, but I'm wondering how, uh, because I'm trying to catch up with V1 Beta 2 in CAPI, and there have been lots of changes, mostly mechanical changes to kubeadm and where all those interfaces live, as well as an attempt to kind of make the contract a little clearer, I guess. Is that something where you're trying to ignore so you can make progress, or is that something we're going to have to that you've already started to look at, or is that going to mess everything up? Because I know this is a fragile balance of keeping some code working between multiple repositories. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I haven't looked at V1 Beta 2. What I usually do whenever I work like with a new CRD or try to modify something, I just look at the latest like GA version, which I think was V1 Beta 1 when I started touching this. I did see like discussions and some changes in the code around V1 Beta 2, but I'm not familiar with that part. So I
Yeah.
actually need to familiarize myself. I'm not worried about breaking stuff because we are at a phase where it is okay to break stuff, but I haven't based my work in progress on V1 Beta 2. So if you need to adapt, and if you think, Matt, or if one of the maintainers other maintainers listen to that, if somebody thinks that we should move right away to V1 Beta 2, in the work in progress work that we have right now, we can do it. We can just migrate whatever we already have, which isn't a lot, and then keep
Yeah.
working on V1 Beta 2.
It
No,
feels like it
yeah.
feels like a sane choice given that we probably won't get merged for some time.
And V1 Beta 2 won't be official until late August or something. So, no, I think you're doing the right thing. Stick with the stable API. And from what I've seen so far, most of the changes will be mechanical. Like if we're importing or trying to follow the same packages as kubeadm stuff is in, that's just moved from here to here. And I don't think the interfaces have really changed. So it doesn't look like a ton of work, but you know how it goes in the end. But I do think it's work that we should defer until later. I don't see any reason to get out ahead of it necessarily.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. It's good that you brought it up. I actually haven't thought about that. Usually in my experience, like I already had similar situation when working on the initial ignition support where we based our work on V1 Alpha 3, and then at some point we needed to switch to Alpha 4. It wasn't too painful. I needed to do some copy paste and to fix some conversions. I think that was it. So yeah, it might be similar. It might be more complicated. Depends on the delta between beta 1 and beta 2. But
Yeah.
yeah. So you're saying, in your opinion, stay with beta 1 for now and then switch later on?
I think that's the safest approach because it looks like, especially for kubeadm, that kind of interface, there's nothing really interesting about it. It's mostly mechanical changes, so we can catch up with that when it's released.
That makes sense to me.
He said, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at V1 Beta 2. The main type we're touching in our relevant work here is kubeadm config spec, and it looks virtually identical to me.
Yeah.
We are making some changes to this struct without breaking the API in the work in progress branch that I have on core CAPI. What we're doing is basically relocating a couple of fields into an embedded type that contains sort of the common fields that are going to be shared across kubeadm config spec or kubeadm ignition config spec or kubeadm whatever config spec. Because as a reminder, we decided to go with a provisioner flavored kubeadm bootstrap provider, which means that we will have to reuse a lot of the fields like cluster configuration, init configuration, join configuration, because these are kubeadm specific, but we're not going to reuse files and disk setup and mounts because these are cloud init specific and they're irrelevant to ignition. So instead of basically duplicating stuff, I decided to move, for example, cluster configuration, init configuration, and join configuration into a new, I think I called it kubeadm base config type, and then that type gets embedded. So it is a change in terms of Go. It is not a change in terms of the API, but it does require some additional conversion code because apparently our kube builder tooling isn't smart enough to figure out that by embedding the same fields, we haven't changed the API. So it looks like a change to the to the API plumbing under the hood, but as far as I can tell, the users shouldn't notice anything because the end result should be the same CRD with the same fields. It's just that the underlying Go structs have been changed. So as far as I can tell, we're not breaking the API from the user's perspective, which is what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's it.
Perfect.
Unless there is anything else.
Nothing for me.
I will add a to-do for me. We schedule a meeting, and then that'll be it. All right, folks. Unshare. Thank you for joining. Anything else you want to bubble up before we close the call?
Nope.
Then enjoy the rest of your day and see you on Slack.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you soon.